Hello everyone, welcome back to codingscientist.com. You are watching Hacking Raspberry Pi Zero to Hero series. Alright guys, so in the previous lesson you got introduced to the expansion board, the Raspberry Pi sensor expansion board, right? So from this lesson onwards I'm going to show you how to hook up some basic sensors onto the expansion board and write some few codes and then activate those sensor and start reading the environmental information. So that's about it. So let's start with the basic stuff. To blink a LED first, whether this is basically to test whether our expansion board is working or not. So we are going to write few basic lines of MicroPython code and connect the LED and take it forward from there. So the circuit looks like this. So go ahead and this is the LED sensor, a basic LED sensor which is connected to D5 port. Okay, this is the D5 port. There are markings here. It's written as D5, which is the digital 5 pin, right? This is the D5. You can see the marking against each of this port has got the marking inside. Very clearly it's mentioned D5, D1, D12 and kind of thing. So go ahead and plug it in D5 port, and then what you need to do, okay, I am going to remotely access my Raspberry Pi and I am connected already to the VNC. Now what you need to do, go to this particular menu bar, that is a Raspberry Pi logo, click on this and go to preference, alright, and go to Raspberry Pi configurations and you get this window. So in configuration you need to go to interface. In interface, make sure that you have SPI and I2C enabled. Alright, these two are very important to access the ports. That means if you activate I2C and SPI, then only you will be able to access the entire the expansion board, and then click OK, and you need to reboot your Raspberry Pi once. Okay, and then Thonny IDE is on my desktop. So how do you access Thonny IDE? For the first time you need to go to this logo, Raspberry Pi logo, and then go to programming and you get Raspberry Pi, the Thonny Python IDE. I removed the rest of the IDEs. I just deleted it because I don't require it. So in order to save space and the memory consumption, so I kept only Thonny IDE. So if you click it, and you can just right click on top of this and you can say add to desktop, and then you can just add it to desktop here. So I'm going to double click the IDE, the Python Thonny IDE, and this is my code, a basic code, MicroPython code to blink the LED. Basically we are importing time and then we are importing the Grow module, which is who is the manufacturer of this particular expansion board. You need to import, and then I'm defining the main function for the LED button, and then I'm bringing that into the loop to glow the LED for 1 second, true and false, right? So I'm going to run this code and see if it works. Okay, all right, the LED seems to be blinking. Now let me show you my circuit. There you go. You can see as soon as you run the code, the LED starts blinking every 1 second. Fantastic. So this clearly shows that the board is working fine, perfectly, it's plugged in and our codes are working and the I2C ports are activated. So everything seems to be perfect. So can you see this, guys? I mean, it's so simple and it's pretty much easy to understand when we plug the board on top of the Raspberry Pi and then we activate it with just by plugging. So we can avoid all those cluttery wire using the breadboard and stuff. So go ahead and try this out and get back to me if you have any questions. I'm going to come back to you in the next lesson with multiple more sensors. Goodbye.